It's 7:00. Thank you, Stephen. And let's start with roll call. Patrick Bradley from the DRB in attendance. Start at this end.
Linda Gray, DRB.
Alec Olstein, DRB.
Harry Rothman, DRB.
John McCabe.
Matt Stewart.
Stephen True.
And welcome, Stephen. First, really great to have someone enroll.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it. Happy to
And
be here.
online,
Emily Myers, DRB.
Emily, good to see you. Okay, and then we have a forum. All right, first item of business is to approve, take a look, I suppose, at tonight's agenda. And if there are no edits or suggestions to modify it, I would love a motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Don. Thank you, Matt, seconding that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Next, we are looking at the minutes from the October 3rd meeting. Anybody have any proposed edits or changes, suggestions to the minutes from our last meeting? If not, a motion to accept the minutes, approve the minutes rather. So thanks, Matt.
Second.
Thank you, Don. All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Emily, you,
I abstain because I wasn't here for the last meeting.
thank you, that's right. Okay, so everyone voted to approve with the exception of Emily. Okay, item 4 is a chance for any public comments. Are there any members of the public that would like to speak prior to any of the pre-posted public hearings? I don't think so. Still live, Stephen? Yep, good. Okay.
Just checking to see if the other camera has shown up, but it is.
Okay, announcements and correspondence. We don't have any of those either. So we can move right into the first public hearing. Number 41, BCU 24. This is a conditional use review. The applicant is the Norwich School District. And as it is also the landowner representing the Norwich School District. It is Jamie. Please.
Yeah.
Want to
Let me pull you.
any other people? Thanks, Stephen. Any
Yep.
other people here with you tonight?
Yeah, I have Kat Buxton, who is with the project.
If I could
Oh,
sign
sure,
this
yeah.
for me, please.
Yep. And then Chrissy Morley, right? And she's a teacher at the Mary Cross School who's in charge of like environmental studies. It's called the LEAD program, but it's
Okay.
environmental studies. And then Tony Daigle, who's our facilities director. So we're all here to answer whatever questions.
Okay. Let's see. Let's take care of some items of business first. Let's put the applicant's submissions into the record. We have 3 items submitted by the applicant, the application itself, some email correspondence, and also a description of the materials and a diagram of the proposed pavilion, A1 through A3. Similarly, Stephen is prepared for
Kyle.
The zoning administrator's office has prepared for exhibits for our consideration ZA1 through ZA4. can I have a motion to move all of these items into the record?
Sure, I'll move to enter that into the record.
Thanks, Matt. We have a second. Thanks, Don. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. And last, order of business, can we just have you, Jamie, put you under oath? Raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
So help me God.
Excellent. Okay.
And Patrick, do you want to do it for everybody in case?
Let's see if anybody, you do have everybody's name already?
I think, are you
Okay.
gonna have Jamie?
I'm gonna help everyone sign in.
Yeah.
Okay, then let's go ahead
I
and,
think I
yeah,
screwed up signing in.
everybody,
I signed in as SAU, not, whatever.
just in case you wanna.
I've got it.
Sure, yeah.
Oh,
Thank you.
perfect.
Great. All right, well, let's start, Jamie, you wanna maybe just give a brief, synopsis of, what the, development is here you're proposing?
Sure, we currently do a recycling program within the school with all the students and the classes, classroom teachers. And so we have a very small, hopefully I don't get this wrong, because I'm not at the school every day, but what I understand is that we have a very small area where we recycle, on the back side of the school in like a small little enclosed, area that holds what?
Composting.
Composting, yes. 2 buckets? 4?
Well, it's 4 chambers
Okay.
that we have now, that's been there.
I can speak to any of this.
They're all gonna help because
Yeah,
they do
yeah.
specific on site, not just the person who signs the permit, but
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
I did go out and meet with them and see where they wanted to put this. So they want to make a more formal program, and they applied for a grant. And we received a grant offer to build a 16 by 20 pavilion composting shed on the back of the school, where we just removed the hard pack half of the basketball court when we came to get the permit for the new playground. And so up against that fence where there used to be like a basketball court, we had a little shed there that they moved over to the other side of the lane over by where we have a garden. And so that opened up the space right next to where the swing sets were on the map in order to put this, the pavilion would fit in there very nicely. And then they can bring the compost, because the kitchen is on the back side of the school as well. And it makes it a very convenient spot that's on our own property. And, you know, it's very convenient for coming out of the kitchen or coming, you know, from the back of the school. I think it probably gets better lighting there, better light and air source there. And so that's the request. And yes, you have pictures of kind of what it would look like. And Kat Watson and her crew would be the folks who would be, it's the Upper Valley Super Compost Project, UVSCP. And she and the folks from there would be installing the structure.
The structure of the compost system.
Well,
Is the sole purpose of the coverage, the pavilion, to just to cover and to use just for the recycling composting stuff?
Yes, it is meant because students are doing the work and they're in school when it's snowing and icy. I've been a compost consultant for 20 years with schools, and some of the things I've realized is that keeping kids comfortable while we do this work is really important. Also, it helps to manage the water in times where we get lots of rain. We're able to manage the water so that it doesn't go into the compost, making the recipe bad and causing leachate. So we're actually, it's for water quality and also student quality.
Are there any interested parties here or online? Adjacent properties? I don't think so, I just wanted to double check. Let's see if between us here, okay? Before we go to any kind of necessary waivers, are there any other questions from the board?
And I have to assume since Kat's involved, there's bear protection involved in this?
Well, yes, and so right now, food scraps are being held in a 35-gallon wheelie tote right outside the school
Gotcha.
with 0 bear protection.
Yeah.
This will have a built system, and this is one of 20 schools that I'm working with, and that's how we do it. And knock on wood, we've had no bears. Don't tell them.
Yeah,
So it's actually, it's an improvement for our.
And is this a site where composting happens, or is this a site where it gets?
It happens right on
Happens there,
site.
okay.
Yeah, and then it goes
Nice.
directly into the school gardens with no trucks involved.
And it's limited to just school scraps.
It is just limited to what's produced at the school.
And the browns will be stored under that same,
That's right.
okay,
Which is another reason we have the roof structure. thing,
Right,
bring
okay.
that up so that we can keep our grounds dry and accessible all winter long.
And currently our grounds are visible from Church Street, because that alleyway that shoots straight back is
Right.
where the current compost system is. And I would say this will be a significant improvement in terms of aesthetics, for our neighbors, actually.
great.
If there's a short answer, I just don't mind being educated a little bit. What are the browns?
Those are the carbon-based feedstocks that are part of the recipe to balance the food scraps, so that we can produce no smells and attract no bears.
Great. Thank you for asking. I also had no idea.
This application is just for the pavilion now, right?
Correct.
Oh,
And I mean, I don't know if you have to have a separate, I mean, the bins are underneath the pavilion, and those are included. I don't know if that's
I
what
don't
you're
think-
asking.
Are the bins a structure for us?
No.
I
We
don't-
should have another definition right here.
Oh, there you go.
Assembly of materials for occupancy or use. I'm looking for, as I read, a permanency thing. Including but not limited to a building, trailer, in-ground swimming pool, tennis court, billboard sign, wall or fence, but not including the following: short fences, wire mesh fence, swing set, sandbox, retaining wall, flower trellis, mailbox, fully blown. Sheds or playhouses, which have a footprint of less than 100 or so. So anyway, something that could be picked up and moved doesn't seem like it.
Not on a permanent foundation.
Not on a, yes. right.
It's on a hard pack.
All right.
I just want to make sure. That's fine.
Okay, so under the conditional use review, and Stephen, since this is our first meeting, I have absolutely no objection to helping where if I'm saying anything out of line or out of
Fair
order,
enough.
please just
I'm
jump
sure you
in.
won't.
No. Bad employer.
Absolutely.
So I think we have to, when it's a conditional use application, as it is here, due to the nature of the school, we have to satisfy both the site plan review and the conditional use review.
Correct.
Okay.
Though you do have the authority to waive requirements as well as dimensional standards if those are requested.
Got it. And so that's where table 5.1 in the regulations is in play.
Mhm.
And in the zoning administrator exhibit 4, we have been provided with a table 5.1 chart where it notes which items have been provided already and which which items the DRB could waive as a consequence of it not being applicable in this case. And so, does anybody from the board have any questions about the chart on exhibit ZA4 and have any reservations about waiving all the required application information.
Yeah, I have a question, just how is this pavilion being bear proof? Is it mesh?
The bins themselves, they have a 1/4-inch hardware cloth that they're lined with,
Yeah,
which will certainly prevent most rodents. I mean, a bear, we can't stop a bear from crushing it.
sure.
The way it's made bear proof is through recipe and management so that it doesn't stink.
But it's an open pavilion.
It is an open pavilion.
Yeah, I was just wondering, if we had a bear come by and take a big bucket of sunflower seeds, lift it up and carry it off into the woods.
Yeah.
And to Pat's earlier point, I'm sorry for interrupting, the current situation is that all of the food scraps, and I have some exhibits that if I can find them in this bowl, I can include, the food scraps are sitting, because we can't handle them in our small system. They're sitting in these billy totes, which have clear evidence of rodents gnawing on the sides of them, are often covered in maggots in the summer and in the warmer months. And the compost, since I've implemented Kat's recipe, have been following it diligently with students. There's no smell, there are no bugs, there are no vermin, whereas the opposite situation is what's occurring with our trucking it out by a hauler to be composted off-site. So the on-site seems much less apt to invite critters, including bear.
As a certified waste hauler for Vermont, I can tell you that this system is better than any dumpster. If we want to bring it to a standard that we all, I'd say, would maybe begrudgingly accept, but yeah.
Seeing as we're hearing evidence about mitigating odor, do we want to find that it complies with any nuisance ordinance that we have in terms of odor, glare, noise?
There's no,
I had the impression that that would be part of the considerations that we would evaluate in the deliberative session for the commission.
Okay,
So
okay.
I'm just wanting to get a motion that all of the application per se is complete, that we have enough information
Yep.
to then apply those standards. And so if everyone's on the same page, can we get a motion to waive any necessary application requirements that aren't included in the application as presented by
I'll make the motion.
a little wordy.
Okay, wait.
My motion is to
New motion.
accept as waived all of the items in ZA4 that in the column waive have a Y.
I'll second that.
And may I just confirm, so what you're looking at is table 5.1 with possible waivers identified, page 45 of the PDF?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exhibit is ZA4, right? If you
Yeah.
go-
Yeah.
Okay.
Last column.
Yeah.
Yep. So if it has been provided, there is a no. If it hasn't been provided, there's a proposal to waive, yes. Right. So Alec has said, let's accept the Y's, yes to waive. Can I have so we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Emily. That's unanimous. Okay. With that being done, we can close the public hearing, and we will have a ruling out in due course after we have first proceed to the next public hearing. Thank you very much.
Do you take a motion to close?
Ah, yes, we probably should do that, right?
So
Matt,
Second.
Alex, second. All those in favor of closing this, public hearing? Aye. Thank you very much.
Do you need for us to stay or no? And then we'll hear in a couple weeks.
We have,
As soon as possible.
as soon as possible, by statute, you have 45 days
Yeah.
to get back to you, but it won't take
Okay,
long.
all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
So I should wait.
Browns.
till
All right.
Yeah, the Browns. we have three.
Your children will come home and teach you how.
Yes.
It's no longer black and white.
Moving on to,
Thank you, folks.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are gonna now reopen, continue, in other words, the hearing, from September of this year. And it's matter number 34 DE 24. The development envelope review application by, Allison, Belton and Steve Irwin. Okay. Tom, good to see you.
Good to see you again, thank you.
Can everyone who's here both on behalf of the applicants and any interested parties introduce themselves? I think we have a few folks joining us remotely.
Yes, this is Steve Irwin and Allison Belton joining you from Virginia.
Hello.
Good to see
Hi,
you.
it's Debbie Henham joining from Norwich.
Okay, Debbie, I just want to make sure that that Linda has a chance to get the name. You have it?
I
Okay,
got
good.
those two. Who else?
And this is Erica Carpenter.
Sure.
And are you a butter or neighbor or,
I am an abutter.
okay?
Great.
And I'm his wife.
Oh,
Just
gotcha.
so for-
Okay.
Now, who's Debbie?
Can Debbie
Who is
introduce yourself again?
Debbie was at the last meeting, I remember.
Yeah, sorry. So I live at the off of Bradley Hill Road and Powers Road, 15 Powers Road,
I
and
couldn't hear that.
which is part of the Bradley Hill.
It's not you,
Yeah.
Debbie, we just, our audio is very,
Dodgy.
here.
Sorry, I live at, if you keep going just a little bit past this property, there's a right-hand turn, it's called Powers Road. And I live all the way at the end of that. So I'm up and down Bradley Hill every single day.
On Powers Road. In the-
But what is this participant's name?
Debbie Hannum, Hannam.
Okay, thank you.
And then Ann. Yeah. And Debbie was here in the last.
Yes.
I was along with Erica and Alicia Lindgren, who's another abutter. Which Alicia's not here tonight.
Okay, that's better. That sounds better.
And
Great.
then,
My name's Donna Otterman.
She's one of these. She's
I
just-
know.
She's my coach.
I'm the driver.
Smart man.
okay,
All right, well, would everybody who's joining, whether in person or remotely, just raise your hand so we can swear everybody in, and do you all agree to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Okay, thank you very much. And let's see, just because we might have some new items to put into evidence here. For tonight's meeting, we have 6 items submitted by the applicant, A1 through A6. I think maybe only the last is new. I'm assuming that's what the highlight means, but either way, we're gonna bring everything into evidence. And then from the zoning administrator's office, we have ZA1 through ZA7. Can I have a motion to put both the A series of documents and the ZA series of documents into evidence? Thank you, Linda.
Second.
Thanks, Don. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. Tom?
Well, to revisit, just to reintroduce the project, the property was originally a 54-acre piece owned by the Elder Baltons. And it was divided into two 27-acre pieces, one with an existing home and one that ultimately gained approval for construction of a home on the 27 acres. That 27 acres that had that home proposed on it had a septic system on the opposite side of the road, and there were some issues that were just naturally a challenge. What we did was we did a boundary line adjustment between the 27 acres, swinging the line in such a way that the 27 acres remained, but there was area added to that 27 acres that gained some area that made it more suitable for septic disposal and building. So that was really what started the process, and then when it became evident that somebody might want to sell the property or build on it, we endeavored to do this building envelope review, and I'm sure you all remember our discussions and visit in September, and then we had that wonderful site visit in the pouring rain. It was one of the funner afternoons that I had this summer. So, you know, I'm feeling like we're kind of just picking up where we left off, and everything was kind of put on hold for the benefit of a site visit. You know, there wasn't a whole lot of discussion at the site visit. It was so that you folks could see the site, and I think everybody had an opportunity to do so and see the sugar house and see the area around it, and we were able to get far enough out into the woods so everybody could see the limits of the building envelope, and that's kind of where we left it, and everybody got in their car and drove away. So
yeah. So I think thank you, that's helpful. I think the purpose of our site visit was not to have direct questions with the applicant. We were really there. Thank you for being our guide, just to understand the property. I think it helps me to remind myself that essentially, like you said, that you have a previously approved boundary line adjustment, which in effect gave the property to the north on Bradley Hill Road more frontage along the road in exchange for sacrificing, I would imagine, land closer up.
Right, there's a triangle on the backside of the hill that goes the other way.
And so we all walked that property, and we're taking, understanding that this new proposed development envelope would leave the ridgeline unadulterated, and we were more focused on the presence or absence of ponds, standing water, wetlands, and maybe scenic overlay to the extent it was in that area, although I seem to remember it was not in that map, and we were like, should it have been, but we gotta take the map as we find it.
Okay, so we're not considering scenic overlay.
That's correct.
Yeah, I think
We
that's
edited the envelope.
okay. The
To stay
outside,
out of
right.
scenic overlay.
Whereas the already would anybody from the applicant's side, before we get to any interested parties, Steve or Allison, anything to add, or are you happy with that description?
Well, we would just re-emphasize what Tom just said, which is absolutely correct. The property has already been approved for a building site close to the road with a septic site across the road. And that was really the original reason we decided to change that, because it seemed bad for everyone. Bad for any future property owner, bad for the neighbors, bad for Bradley Hill. And so what Tom did was to allow a slightly different building site. It's really just a stone's throw from the original one, back away from the road and with the septic system on its own side of the road. So that seems like a win-win for everybody in our view.
Okay, thank you. Would anyone, Deborah or Erica, want to give everybody a chance to speak?
I don't have anything to add.
Thank you. Erica, anything to add?
I just wanted to review, what will the proposed change, what will the effect be on the, I don't remember the term we used last time, but the buffer zone of trees that would be in between the place where a home would be built and the road itself?
Yeah, I think we used the term screenage last time. And I think I don't want to speak for the applicant, but I thought I recall reading here something like an intention to leave that, have that privacy, have that screenage.
Or he can find it.
Is that correct?
Tom can give a more precise answer, but if for those people who have walked to the site and been up to the building envelope, it's clear that there's plenty of space. There's a huge swath of trees between the building site and the road. And that would not necessarily be the case with the current building envelope, which is already approved for building. So that's why I say this would be a gain for everyone. Tom, do you have any more details to speak to about that?
Tom, did you, for the new proposed envelope, was there something in your application about screenage?
What you wrote.
I know we mentioned something in a response about maintaining a wooded screen to protect the view of the road and from the road out. I mean, I don't know that I mentioned a particular distance.
Sure.
I would say that a 25-foot band of woods outside of the right of way of the road that would be maintained along the entire frontage of the road. I mean, the only place you're gonna have to violate that is where there's gonna be access, and there's, as you witnessed, there's kind of an existing driveway that I anticipate will be exploited in the access to the building. You know, if it were 50, it would seem like an awful lot. If it were 25, I think it would be pretty reasonable. I don't think it would hurt, somewhere between 25 and 50 still wouldn't hurt where that building site is. I mean, when I look at my plan and I'm looking at a 50-foot wide road, 50-foot wide easement or a screen might be a little excessive.
Yeah.
But 35, 40-foot wide screen wouldn't be unreasonable.
Okay.
So just to clarify what I heard, so what you're saying is that maintaining the let's say 25, 35 up to 40 feet of the current trees, the screenage that is there is feasible and is something that can be maintained with this change. I'm just trying to reiterate what I think you said.
That's absolutely right.
That's what I think I heard a willingness to. I don't think that that's a decision or anything, but what I'm hearing is for sure that there's no aversion to that and no plans to go to the other extreme and remove all the trees along Bradley Hill Road.
Correct.
Okay, well, thank you for clarifying. There was quite a bit of discussion about that last time. I see Debbie has her hand raised, and then at some point I would like to be able to ask one more question.
No, go ahead, Erica, go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Debbie. May I ask another question?
Please.
I unfortunately unfortunately was unable to join you on the lovely day of the site visit. Were there any findings of the site visit that are pertinent to this conversation?
No, the nature of our rules are that we can't really take testimony or make any findings during the site visit. You can imagine it's like we're only really just there with our eyes open to become familiar with the property itself.
I understand. Okay, thank you.
Just as a point of clarification, if you do have observations, you can read them into the records in open meeting. So if you had observations,
yep,
now would be the time.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful. I guess building on that, my observations were that there was not considering it was very rainy that day, there was not an undue permanency of some, half of the development envelope was not essentially a pond, in other words, in layman's terms. So that was my impression from that visit.
I concur with that.
Sorry, can I ask a quick question? Am I correct in that the property still has the for sale sign out in front of it? And that this permission to move the envelope isn't because the Valtons want to put a house there themselves. It's basically, it will go with that piece of property when it is eventually sold. Is that right? So we don't really know at all what house might be built, how big it might be, how small it might be, or anything like that. Am I correct? It's really the purposes of getting this done right now is to make the property more saleable. Is that correct?
I'm not really sure that that's a question that we need to be addressing, what the purpose of the for sale sign is.
But you mapped out a house site, but whose house site is it, I guess is what I'm asking.
We are not planning to build any house there. What someone does who purchases the property is up to them and what is allowed by the DRB. So it's not in our hands at that point.
I can answer that. Yeah, exactly. Not the sort of inquiry isn't really about what the current owners want to do, but I think from a legal perspective, if we approve this new development envelope on that property, that will be in a future state, a pre-existing approved development envelope on that lot.
Right,
So
got it, thanks.
sold,
Thank you.
that person who, they might not build a house on it, but if they were to, they would have to build a house within the confines of the approved development envelope.
Right. And that new development envelope has proven that you can put a septic system in it. Is that correct?
Water supply permit in place.
Right. Okay, thanks. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. I think everyone who.
Erica has her hand up.
Sorry, we don't see that graphic here. Who, go ahead. Anyone who has a question?
Yeah, this is Erica. Sorry about that. So to that end, sort of building on Debbie's question and the response of the Valtons, the discussion we had a minute ago about the buffer of trees, the screenage, 30, 35, 40 feet of them remaining intact, should a future owner of the land build a home, is that binding? Does that also carry forward to whoever buys the property, or is that just an agreement with the current owners of the land?
It's a good question.
Was it the original development review, the envelope conditions with the fact that the screenage remains?
The question, I suppose, is, so I would answer that by I think clarifying that this question is about assuming that this current application is approved, can the DRB approve it with this condition to have a certain amount of,
It doesn't carry over.
does it carry over? Yes,
Yeah,
I think it does.
It does, absolutely.
And I just want to clarify, so that if that's written up in our decision, then it carries over. If it's just the current owner saying they have no intent, then that isn't
Correct.
binding. What we do and what wording we place in the approval is binding.
Correct.
On the then approved development.
Could I ask the applicant, is there an objection to us adding a condition to the envelope for 25 feet, say, of screening?
I think a reasonable strip would be fine. I probably should let Steve answer the question. I wouldn't want it to be excessive, but if it were a 25-foot buffer,
I would not be in support of anything more than that.
okay, I don't think 25 feet is gonna hurt anything, but I'll let Steve respond.
Yeah.
We're fine
We're
with
fine.
that.
We want what's best for Bradley Hill Road.
Okay, thank you for expressing your intentions clearly. We'll, I think we put all the documents into evidence. We've heard all the testimony. I think we can finally close this public hearing. Oh, no, not yet.
Sorry to be oil with the vinegar, but it says here the property is in current use. Could you refresh me on, is there any impact on current use status?
I think that they are endeavoring to alter their current use. It's kind of ironic, excuse me.
We have done so. We have taken care of that.
Sorry.
We have taken care of the current use. We have had the new map redrawn and the data.
Sorry, we can't hear you, Allison.
Yeah.
We have had the current map, the current use map redrawn and the data submitted to the county forester.
That was done just in the last month.
Yeah.
I believe they're changing their current use to be reflective of the new 27 acres.
That's right.
Correct.
It'll be
It will
within
remain-
current use.
Yes.
Yeah.
If approved, it's been submitted, but not approved, that's.
Okay,
the
so
current
that's
status.
it, yeah.
But that doesn't affect us.
My
It's
hearing
not
aids
relevant to,
cranked up all the way.
yeah, okay. It's a good, not relevant, I would imagine, to our decision. That's a tax issue and
That's
has
right.
nothing to do with this, right?
I was just curious.
Good, no, I like your curiosity.
So on a,
Small town.
on a point referring to the screening buffer, we're staying around 25 feet is what we're going to possibly put in. And
We've heard, go ahead, sorry.
I guess the question or clarification I'm looking for is, that means that there will be no grooming or maintenance of that 25 feet. So like, what I'm trying to protect is cutting the understory, having, 10% of the view shed be trunks and being able to see right through versus letting it happen, letting a succession of next generation trees come in to actually provide a visual screening. So basically, once again, I'm just trying to make it so that this 25 feet is unmanicured rather than 25 feet where there are trees, but a denuded understory.
Right, no, I would anticipate that the 25-foot buffer would act as a 25-foot buffer, period. The only work that would go in there would be to go in and clean up dead trees,
We can, yeah, it's a good question. We can consider the language. I want to make sure that we understand the applicant's willingness, and I think that's helpful for us.
And that would be.
But I want to make sure that there's reason and or authority to even, lay
Just
that
specify
contingency
those.
on, because I am generally inclined to not put contingencies on that don't need to be there, so I think we can take that into deliberative session.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Great, so, sorry, back to, this proposal to maybe close this hearing. Can we get a motion?
Sure, I move to.
Thank you, Matt, and a second? Barry. All those in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, Steve and Allison, and all those joining, Erica, Deborah, appreciate it, and, you'll hear from us as soon as possible.
Thank you very much.
Thanks again. for
Thank
the-
you.
Thank you.
Okay. Just, we're down to three
Yeah.
screens there.
Yep.
Turned out the public section,
Yeah, we can go.
audio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when we go, we can make a motion to go into deliberative session,
Yeah,
and then
let's
I'll
do that.
stop the recording.
Okay.
I move to go into deliberative session.
Is that okay? You're comfortable with that? Great. I'll second that motion and deliberative
Okay,
session.
so Matt and
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.